Hey everyone, I'm still here on the surface. We all are. Um, we've been quite busy, hence why I titled this Long Awaited Update, LOL. I've been trying to get one out, perhaps the last couple weeks or so. However, Divinity did not dictate that. Several things would occur that it wasn't times. But hey, here I am. Hey, peace. Greg, good to see you, brother. So I'll try to keep it as short as possible. However, as you know, there's so much to go over. Um, the first thing I wish for you to know is that the magical cat, our comrade angel that was traveling with us, is no longer with us. There was a, let's say, unusual accident where she got hit by a vehicle. However, it was all divinely orchestrated. Um, she has, I'm just going to be open with what I received, that a humanoid body became available. She went as a walk-in into some adult uh, body. So it was all divinely orchestrated what occurred. Having said that, we sadly missed her. You know, it happened several days ago, and my great love for her, as well as Helen's and Sharon's as well. And however, she has taken on a higher form. She is still upon the surface, and she is very important to this now. I don't know if I shared with you before, but one of the messages I had received from her several weeks ago was that one of her embodiments was Nefertiti. So, having said that, some of you may identify with that and can see uh, why this had to occur, that she was separated from us in this now. So, with my greatest love, and we miss her much. We will see her here in the near futures in some other form. So, thank you. Now, let's begin what I have wrote down here. Perhaps, I took a point form structure as I always do, and it's been so long, some of this might not be in chronological order. However, I'll just dish it out as I get it here. Okay, let's jump back to Bancroft, Ontario. I had also asked for uh, assistance and had requested ones to activate that remotely here on Facebook. I also, I believe, had that in the Divine Tasking group to activate that important portal. It's part of the 5D grid, and it has many functions. And let's say in the futures, we may be accessing it for more work. One of its main functions was, I believe I'll get into now, I should say, one of its main functions is tearing down again some more of the projected EMFs, the weaponry from, let's say, the remnants of the darkness on the masses that are unawakened yet. Our whole time around Toronto, Niagara Falls, we were even down there. More of a story with that, checking out on the water situation, Niagara Falls, and what was occurring there was absolutely disgusting. The pollution, and plus a squadron of jets spraying some sort of chemicals over the rivers, ridiculous. However, around the Toronto area, it could be, we had a gathering there, and let's say that it could be felt very clearly by higher ones that there were projections of EMFs, but a sort of a scrambling device targeted towards the consciousness that would in the least, just to blatantly describe it, keep a dumbed down effect, keep ones confused, just keep them in a routine to just focus on driving to work like a robotic state. However, these things, as we know, are all coming uh, down, and wherever we need to affect that divinely, we will do it here very quickly. What I will say, I did not anticipate still seeing in effect such an extensive force against the masses, if you will, in desperate attempts to control and keep them dumbed down. However, it, it was there, it may still be there, and we have taken some small measures to wipe it out. However, we'll see what occurs with it. Getting back to Toronto, I must say that I was very impressed with that area, uh, to the amount of ones that were in higher states of awakened consciousness there. So I wish to share with you that I was very impressed uh, with the amount of just some numbers I was given as indicators, with Simon Ra Melchizedek. I met him and I love him, and Eldora, his partner, both very great. Quite a conscious community there that he felt, I believe, there were are 1,500 at least in, perhaps. So very impressive, and a great indication of the advancement overall. So great. So we activated Bancroft. Uh, we had shortly afterwards, we had a meeting with Troy McGill and some others, just a small meeting gathering in Avonmore, south of Ottawa. Um, and again, with that, it was on a small scale, and these are important. Everyone is important, of course, but when we have even these little unscheduled meetings, they are of just as vital importance as well, and they're all part of the construct as we keep going forward. So even if we meet only with one individual, that is divinely important. And I know that anyone that we have met with thus far, that they can attest to that. And we don't need really any witness or testimony to any of this. It's very true, and we just keep going forward. So that was great. And in Cornwall, we met with Sharon Stewart. We met with her one afternoon. We had to make those important connections. And Sharon Stewart is a member of the light community as well. And she does much work. She channels what she calls Ivo, as at least a divine partner, and much more. And as we keep growing, we keep getting things out, and keep enhancing each other. So then from Cornwall, Ontario, we went into Montreal, and this is where our brother that joined the Ascension caravan here, Benoit Bouillon, had joined us, and he is he is bilingual. I do not speak French. I know a few words, however. It was very beneficial having Benoit through all of Quebec. And having said that, Quebec became pretty extensive, and we were having gatherings, meetings there almost daily. And I kind of got a little bit drained putting things out daily. So afterwards, we needed a little rest period so I could rejuvenate. But let me say, it was widespread, like right across Quebec. We were in Montreal, Trois, Rivière. We had met with one in Quebec City, and met with another down in St. George's. However, we had a gathering in Trois Rivière, and we had a main gathering in Montreal, but some smaller gatherings that had came afterwards. And impressive individuals with these, and it ranges from ones uh, just starting to retrieve their memory back, becoming more awakened, to well advanced ones as well. Let me say again, I'm very impressed and very satisfied and grateful with our work that we did passing through Quebec. Also, having said that, yeah, I just uh, in Montreal, the West Island of Montreal. Also, we had a gathering there with Jessica, a very special advanced lady, one evening, and also I did a part of an interview with her. I may share that with you in the future. However, any that's been following along, and it's a lot of repetitive stuff when we have the gatherings, but then also it's an individualized theme as well. However, I had to mention Jessica. There's just been so much happening, and I don't write down a daily journal or a log, and we just keep going forward. So there are things that may not come up in this, and well, of course there will be. There's always so much that happens that I just try to get out the highlights. So very important work. Yeah, in Quebec. So our last meetup gathering we had was in Grand Falls, New Brunswick. Uh, we took several days there last week. We had to have repairs done to Betsy, and that took about 3 or 4 days. And the area we were in had very little cell phone service, and the internet service, I could not get it there uh, to any degree to do anything. I just had a little bit to check a couple messages once, but anyhow, that was not very much of a connection. And I was also attempting to rest from the extensive Quebec divine energetic work we did with so many individuals, and also with Gaia and part of the 5D grid. So we met in Grand Falls. We met Corbin Goodbout, Gabu, Godbout is how you spell it. Godboot. Yeah, a very amazing divine masculine. And having said that, with our gathering and our meeting there, we were there for several days. Um, Corbin is a very beautiful divine masculine and very advanced and connected in with the sovereignty information, well informed on it, and he is also connected into some other groups globally. And so what we will be doing in respect with this, I feel that I will be putting some more of Corbin's work out, but not only Corbin's, everyone's. We're in this time where we're connecting, let's say, sovereign groups, bringing them all together to unite them under one umbrella. And again, we take this as far as we need to take it while the old matrix implodes. We have coming in the back door at the same time everything to accommodate a smooth transition into the freedom for all of humanity, and to wipe out the corruption that was there in the governing bodies globally. And so the transition is well underway. Woohoo! And but again, Father says it's a transitional process, and we all know that we've been waiting so many years, but it's so beautiful to begin to see the concrete confirmations even out in the into the mainstream medias, the what you may call the 3D world or what have you. So it's great. We're getting the confirmations out there. Um, Yeah, it's not an illusion. No one's delusional. These are facts, and it's all occurring. Yeah. Um, so that was great with Corbin, and there are Corbins that was mostly divine masculine. There was also Danny came by and also met another great um, divine masculine Brad as well, and a and two impressive or an impressive female and another impressive female that is more so will be gaining higher journeys and higher understandings. For the most part, what we had there was divine masculine, and it was very appreciative to see the caliber of some of the divine masculine. And having said this, one thing that we see with the masculine is that they'll kind of be reclusive, and you might not know that they're there, but they can pop up and have their work all done. It's sometimes a little bit different than the divine feminine, joining together and assisting each other. With the masculine, I see so many times they'll advance, more so on their own, and many may not even know about it. However, that also goes, as part of the process with the divine feminine as well. What you tend to see is the divine masculine in the past were not as outspoken about it, and whereas the divine feminine are, but it does not negate the fact that the divine masculine are not there. And yes, they are here, and let me say it's very impressive, the magnitude and amplitude of these divine masculine. So, and also what I've been seeing as well, because of the caliber of the divine masculine and the ones we recently come into contact with, all inclusive. The indications I received today, just when I was writing up the point form to do this live, is that we are more than ready for a huge shift forward right at this very time, meaning that the ground support, the masculine support is in there for the feminine to push ahead here. But much more, what you're going to be seeing coming and standing on the front lines, making more of a show, is more of the divine masculine taking up their places, as well as the great unity expands, and the equality between the sexes, if you will, on the lower scales also dissolves. So we have divine feminine standing side by side with divine masculine, and there is no other way. There will be no divine matriarch rule. There will be no divine patriarch rule. Only inequality is how this goes forward. And anyone suggesting any less than an inequality, it's not going to happen. The only way this works is 50-50 balance and respect and appreciation of all involved, and everyone works together. You drop all these differences and you keep going forward united with that one goal, and that is to liberate humanity in the least, and to raise everything up into a 5D place of harmony, love, and all of the good things, void of suppression, enslavement, misery, pain, war, sickness. You have it. Everyone knows the scoop. So I'll stop rambling on that. Yeah, what else I got wrote down here? Yeah, downloads daily and influxes of light. Wow, that was pretty amazing. Amanda Lawrence, I would hear others saying, she would say another incoming wave, like, daily. Let me say, I can attest. It was very comical, and we just kept receiving light. I know I did, and some of the other team members daily on a daily basis as we needed it. And yeah, it would. This physical vessel, it would make it pretty sleepy at times, that even in the middle of the day would have to lay down to receive these influxes of light and downloads as well. Because also, for one reason, I am as I mentioned, a powerful creator. And when it's divinely time, I do receive downloads and parts of the script that will be played out, if you will, in the near futures. And all of us are like that. We've done really all of this before. We have done this in our higher states, but we're more so here playing it out, acting it out, and integrating it into a reality and into the timelines. So, hence your deja vu for a lot of you. Let's say, we're here in the daytime on the surface, and we all go to lunch in our dream state and decide what we're going to do the next day. So anyhow, we're living it out and we're doing it, and we already won. The light has won in 2012, and we're just creating a great history here. We're writing a new history, a history that's exposing why a new history had to be written and why things had to be rectified and what have you. So we are the actors and the actresses playing these roles, and assure that everyone that is transitioning higher is transitioned and taken out of the slavery. I'm rambling again. So, okay, I had put out, requests. We're near, right now, we're actually in Woodstock. Yeah, Woodstock, New Brunswick, though. And Sharon's got her beautiful hair up like one of the flower children, the love goddess. And, I got my bandana on, so the old hippie days, I'm feeling it, even though this is not the Woodstock. It's named Woodstock. So we're close to Fredericton, and I put out if there was any interest for ones to just contact me. And the reason I did this, there were some, let's say, problems with Sharon's and the access for Sharon and Ellen to access their accounts, and I believe Ben Wall's account was okay. So I'd requested any interest from here on just to contact me, please, so that we can assure we're not missing anyone along our travels. However, having said that, at this time, where there has been no interest and we're near Fredericton, what we're contemplating is that we're going to be in Nova Scotia, perhaps in a day or two, and I will put something out to that effect, what gatherings we will have in that area. So we had tentatively Halifax. However, I may push things forward. Once we're done this, let's say, tour across Canada, we may be going to Europe. We've been looking at things. It's not fully definite. I asked Father, I believe yesterday, do we go to Europe? The only reply I got is that it would be beneficial. Now, that's not a full definite yet, but we're still working on it. So having said this, what looks like is going to occur, we will be going to near Halifax in the next few days, Nova Scotia, and we'll most likely have a gathering or maybe a couple right around there, but then we're going to see what occurs, and if we need to go to Europe, that may not occur until mid-October. I will need the time after we have the Halifax gathering or gatherings, meetups. I may need this time to work on some of the sovereignty things and some other things that we may need to have ready. So I have other things to catch up on as well. So there may be a slight period when we decide what we do, or if we're going uh, down in the U.S. on the East Coast and begin back to the West Coast. I'm uncertain if we'll be doing that. I know there's some others that are, Todd Medina and uh, Morgan Lee. They have begun on the West Coast doing a similar thing, also with others. So I'm just not given yet what we'll be doing. Tentatively, Arkansas was for us visiting there in October at a healing center. That was a tentative thing. Also with Sydney Campos, she had requested if she could put me on the number with, I believe in November, for speaking at the Odyssey conference. However, again, I said to do it, but everything is tentative with us. Whereas on a day-to-day, um, more so thing with this, I don't project it outwards unless I'm divinely told to plan ahead. Um, it's divinely taken care of, more so where we are and who I see at any given time, and I just go where I'm supposed to go, and it occurs. There's not much planning with this because you don't plan it from the human logic or perspective. I don't control that. What I do is I let divinity control it, and I follow the prompts with where we must go and who we must meet. And anyone that's doing extensive energy and grid work in the past, most of you know that's how it works, that you're not given beforehand most of the information, what you're to do in a geographical area, that most of it comes when you are on location. Then you receive what to do. So it's similar in how I operate. Okay. So yeah, again, looking like be in Halifax area, perhaps even on Sunday, maybe, or just the rest of the team. We're having a little break, and we're kind of scattered, so we got to get united ourselves and see what everyone is doing. To my knowledge, Benoit will be accompanying us to Halifax. That's my knowledge at this time, and it's feeling that Benoit will go back towards Quebec. Having said this, Benoit is very impressive with his work and his knowledge, and I would recommend his assistance fully with that. And great things, of course, are being done by Benoit as well. So we'll see what occurs here in the near futures. But again, everything is tentative. Tentative. We take it on a day-to-day basis, and I'm told to keep going forward. That's what I do, and each follows their own guidance as well. So that's what we do. Keep going forward. The financials out soon. I know I said this maybe a week or two ago. I was trying to get out an update on our financials to show you. Helen had it ready maybe a week ago for the other month. However, I need to look at it, and I need to adjust some things on it. And let me just say that. I'll get that out shortly, but to keep it simple, we needed funding, and we're not we're very conservative, as you'll see, or anyone that looked at the prior statements. And this is what we do. This is not about money. It's getting as far as we can, on our on the buck. So we will get it out. I do like to get it out, because there's also important information to for others that may be doing this, to look at, the costs associated, the support with this. Am I still on there, everyone? Can someone, let's see, I need to scroll down. I wasn't looking. Can someone just give me, write in the comments if I'm still broadcasting here? It says it's trying to reconnect, but I kind of feel like we may still be connected here. Okay, I see some hearts, so we're still connected. Okay, great. So, having said this about the financials, I'll get this out here as soon as I can. Everything's going great. We still have a yes. Thank you. Okay, thank you, all of you, Romana, Friedas, and Dawn, and Joe, Sharon. Thank you. So we're still good. We're funded here for at least to get into Halifax and to see what's going on and what will take place there. So with this, I thank all of you for supporting this important work we're doing. I'm most grateful, and it's so appreciative. Again, when we needed some quick funding, I just kept it short and simple, put out the call, and it come in, instantly. And it's very, very great to see that in the support from all of us that know. And again, as I said back in December, I wanted to embark upon the similar thing down into the U.S. I wanted to do it myself. I had money then, and anyways, the border thing, I went there 3 times, could not get across. However, I've been across since, and that's another big thing with the border. The immigration laws, how they're actually discriminatory and degrading and what have you. But that's part of the old systems we're bringing down, so it's comical. However, I'm all clear and good on that now. So I thank all of you again for all these contributions and support, and I'm very grateful, and I love all of you involved. And there are some what I'd like to call our sponsors that contribute handsomely when we need it, no questions asked, and support and assure that we continue with this important work. And so my greatest respect and love for your continuous support, as well as all others with this, and even energetically. It doesn't have to be monetary, as you know. Energetically, it all assists the whole. So thank you. um, yeah, so just looking here. There's a Okay, one thing I wanted to mention on the RV front there. Things are happening, what I'm giving. However, I do not wish to see any stalling, and some of the information I get, it appears that there is stalling on that RV, on the prosperity funds, and these sort of things being released. And where I'm coming from, this is ridiculous, and that it needs to come out, and it needs to come out now. Having said that, there are a few things that we can do as energetic groups, and combine each one. There's been huge protests globally around the world. One thing we can do is, if we need to give the systems a little push, is a worldwide strike, an organized, united worldwide strike to shut down the whole matrix. So there are many things we can do, but for the most part, many of us are getting tired of this tossing around the bag, if you will. So we need this to come into this reality. We are the ones to do it, and enough of this stalling by ones that have a little bit of fear or are not fully on board. Don't give away your consent to the darkness. We got this, and we need you to implement and integrate this into the timelines. So wherever it may be, I feel very good with it. It's happening now. However, I strongly say no more stalling on this. And there are several things that we will do and that we can do. This is not threats, but you have your ships, you have your galactic connections, you have your divine connections, you have your energetic connections, and also we have many other connections. A huge gust of divine wind come here. Well, maybe not a huge gust, but a nice gust to back that up. So, having said that, we keep everything going forward, of course, keep everything energized for the good for all. Yeah, so part also of our work as we came across North America, Canada, it's encoding others as temporary grid keepers, holding down the 5D grid as well. Let's say maintaining portals to the degree that just as long as they're aware that they have them there and that they're connected to them, that suffices in holding down the grid and allowing for the 5D energy to spread out in their areas. But there are so many attributes of uh, portals and 5D nodules and ley lines, the new ley lines, and these sort of things. However, it is important that there are, let's say, station holders or gatekeepers or what have you for certain important nodules, and to maintain a balance as well as we keep sending impulses of light out on these ley lines to diminish the dark energetic weapons and whatever have you. Like, these things should not even exist. However, they're there, and we just keep taking it out to the darkness. It's futile to resist. Any of you that used to watch Star Trek with the Borg or what have you, I like that adage. It's futile to resist, and that's what we say to the darkness. So you're only kidding yourself. You've seen enough of us, and we show you daily. We cannot be killed. It's not what it's about. None of your things work anymore, and you're losing ground very quickly. So it's hilarious. So give up your shenanigans. Throw down your guns. um, so what else do I have here? Well, that's pretty well it, what I got wrote down there. So those are the points. If there's anything else. So going forward, as you can see, I was so busy, very little coming out. Cannot assure the futures if that's going to change. We are so busy. I do anticipate I will be busy here again in the next few days leading up and setting up Halifax area. So anyone in Nova Scotia that is, let's say, close to the New Brunswick border towards Halifax, anyone in that area, if you wish to get together, we may be able to arrange something. So, even if it's just one along the way, excuse me, we've been doing that when I get called to. For example, in St. George's, when we were going towards Quebec City to continue across Canada, we had to go down there. There was an important individual, and I don't hesitate. Father says go, and with ones like that, you don't ask questions. You just go, and we do it. So, we have a tentative track, as I said. How